Welcome!
Welcome to the Omniverse of Nick and the opener to What If Jill Roberts Survived, the next Scream story. Before we get into it, be sure to check out the Omniverse's homepage, where our channel mascot Omni will direct you to the Discord, both Google Docs, and all the new platforms and just everything else in its entirety that the Omniverse has to offer, along with smashing the like button, subscribing to the Omniverse of Nick, sharing the Omniverse around and turning on all Omniversal notifications, and commenting future requests and expectations in the comments section. With all that said, let's begin. This is the next Scream story. What if Jill Roberts survived? Now, for those of you who don't know, she is a Scream 4 Ghostface killer alongside Charlie, but she wanted the fame, fortune, and just to be Sidney by herself as a sole survivor. So she killed Charlie, and then she made it deeply personal with her cousin Sidney and ended up trying to kill her and then make it so that she was like the hero of the day, basically, the sole survivor. So she tries the plan, but it turns out that Sidney and Gail both survived. So she tried to kill them both in the hospital, but Sidney would volt her with over 12,000 volts from the hospital equipment and seemingly kill her. But like every Ghostface killer, she would come back and get shot in the stomach for the final kill. Now, I would originally make it so that since this is a fan-made Scream 7 project revolving Jill, that she would just be involved with Stu and Dewey and just make it that way. But since we have only not even 50% of the details for Scream 7, I am going to be making this a solely fan-made version of Scream 7 with Jill Roberts as the main head honcho and everything else added in with my own twist on how I think a Scream 7 revolving Jill Roberts would turn out. So, here's the title card with Jill and Sidney front and center, showing this is a movie specifically about the two of them. And that actually works even more because the movie is supposed to be deeply personal for Sidney. So this actually works truly and completely in its entirety. So, how will Jill Roberts survive and how will she impact the future of the story? Let's find that out now. We open up where Sidney volts Jill with the hospital equipment, but I'm not going to have her get shot here because I feel that if I were to do that, it would have to be a miss shot. And honestly, for Jill Roberts, I just feel like them thinking she died from the hospital volts would be enough without having to double tap a shot, especially since it's personal for Sidney, much more so, you would think, around the same as Roman, and because she's a kid. So I think that the bolts is just enough to put her down and just make them think that she's dead. So seemingly, she's on the ground, she's not moving, and everybody thinks she's dead, but turns out she's just very, very, very much unconscious. So Sidney still has her line of monologue, and the entire room of which they're in is cleared out and completely closed off as a pretty much abandoned room of the hospital, because there's nothing really to do here. Then Jill Roberts wakes up what it seems like hours, days. She doesn't know, but she wakes up. She's alive? And she can't believe it. But then she realizes she's alive. And she starts to process it more. Sidney didn't have it in her to kill her. Or she must have thought that those volts were actually enough. Gail. This is both their faults. Now Sidney will be the hero. And what's Jill left as? The angry child? The mass murderer? The completely out of control psycho killer girl from Sidney's family? No. And she just talks to herself and has a line of monologue and says, "Too bad, Sidney, you didn't have it in you to kill me, but it means a lot that you gave me a second chance." And then she maniacally laughs, smirks, and cackles like a psychotic ghost face would. And she says, "This time, your alternate ending is my victory. And so, Scream 5 and 6 go by, but Jill doesn't want to take action yet. Because now that she hears about a girl who's supposedly the daughter of Billy Loomis and her sister, interfering in that cycle of whatever's going on with them is just not worth it. Then she hears about Dewey's death, and this intrigues her because now she knows there'll be no one to interfere. Dewey was half at fault too. And she says she's going to wait until the perfect opportunity come up with a foolproof plan. And this time, she'll get it done her way. And so Scream 7 rolls around. Joe Roberts has been making a plan for a long time now. And the events of the Scream franchise from 5 through to 7 have gone exactly the same. Now, I'm still going to be putting McKenna Grace and Isabel May into the movie because I sort of kind of have to, along with Sidney and her infant, obviously. And so she talks to Gail on regular occasion to talk about Dewey and realizes that since they were out in hiding, her and her family, Gail almost died. And Ghostface didn't get her again. So she decides they all need to get together at Randy's house, talk about what's been happening, and share about more or less just get everyone together and see how everybody is doing. So, Sidney, her two daughters, McKenna Grace and Isabel May, the actors, since their names haven't been confirmed yet, her infant, Gail, Chad, and Mindy all reconvene and talk to each other at Randy's house. And Sidney and Gail especially want to know, where's Sam and Tara? And more importantly, since she also knows about Kirby, where's she? And like, what's been going on? And they start talking and learn everything that's been going on since they saw each other in the Scream 5 timeline, when all of a sudden they're all caught off guard by someone very injured, very bloody, very near death, and very, very frightening scene walking in the door towards them. Gail is just talking to Sidney about Dewey when Kirby walks in, very injured, very bloody, very near death, and says, Sidney, Gail, you guys are going to want to hear this. What happened to Kirby? Did she have a run-in with Jill and her new plan? What happened to Sam and Tara? And how is this going to affect the meeting or reunion, quote-unquote, of Sidney and Jill as Jill Roberts' survival takes an interesting and very brutal front-head turn?
Now get out!
What?
Get out! Everybody get out!